WWE had a crisis with Raw this week. Triple H is making big changes backstage, and the real reason AEW have abandoned plans to sign a top free agent. I'm Luke Owen, and this is Wrestling News.
Support WrestleTalk!
This week's Raw took place from Little Rock, Arkansas, which might have been hot in ring but was very cold outside, with Raw opening with a shot of its latest signing, snow. Also, I know it's Arkansas, but it's spelled Arkansas, and I thought it'd be funny to say it that way. It's not funnier? Oh well, we'll try it one more time. Jackie Redmond even noted during a backstage interview with Seth Rollins that she could see his breath as he was speaking because it was so cold in Little Rock, Arkansas. No, you're right, it isn't funny. And it didn't go unnoticed by fans that the set looked different, with the show not being as brightly lit as it normally is. And no, it was not the return of that third-hour Raw Dark, or whatever it was that Mick Foley promised that one time. This comes off the back of reports of cost-cutting within the company, since TKO COO Mark Shapiro, that's fun to say, noted that WWE was scaling back on house shows and added at a media conference, "We are going to scrutinize every dollar on the production end of every single one of these events and every single one of these telecasts, and we're going to realize substantial savings." This did lead some to wonder if this new scaled back set would become the norm for Raw and SmackDown, but that would appear not to be the case. Basically, snow is a pain in the ass. But it wasn't just the weather that held the production of Raw back, as PW Insider reports that the Simmons Bank Arena was not structured in a way that could support the company's current lighting rigs. Apparently, WWE usually hang their lighting from the ceiling, which was not possible, and there was the added concern of snow on the roof, which meant that Raw just had to be a bit darker this week. Triple H posted his gratitude to the production staff via Twitter, highlighting that they needed to redesign the set of Raw in less than 24 hours. I actually mistook this week's stage as part of this new set design for the show because there have been reports that WWE shows will start to look different, what with Mark Shapiro's comments and especially with the departure of Kevin Dunn. When Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful Select asked if this new stage would become the norm for WWE, he wasn't given a definitive answer. However, a new set had been discussed recently. The gnarly weather also affected travel for the show, with commentary noting that DIY nearly didn't make it to Raw for their match with JD McDonough and Dominic Mysterio. Johnny Gargano revealed that mad Twitter schedule via Twitter, highlighting their various cancelled flights before they drove for 5 hours to get to Little Rock, arriving just a few hours before their match. But while the set for this week's Raw was weather affected, the backstage production changes have little to do with outside temperatures and all to do with Triple H's new crew. Do you think you're a wrestling genius? Well, prove it, smart guy! Sign up to WrestleLeague to compete with thousands of other people predicting every major wrestling event with a chance to win up to $250 of Amazon vouchers if you prove yourself to be the best. The new season starts with WWE Royal Rumble on January 27th. Join for free at WrestleTalk.com and make sure you click the email sign up to make sure you do not miss a show. Kevin Dunn has had a stranglehold on WWE's production, having been with the company since before the first WrestleMania. Despite how virtually everyone complained about the way WWE was shot or staged, nothing changed. Crash zooms, constant camera movements, wrestlers watching TVs weird. They were always there and were never going to go away. But Kevin Dunn is now done, handing in his notice to WWE just prior to Christmas last year, after his relationship with the company was getting ugly and he felt disrespected for being a Vince McMahon guy. His absence was felt almost immediately, with the opening of the Day 1 edition of Raw feeling different to previous shows. But perhaps the biggest and most notable change has been in two backstage segments over the last couple of weeks. That Day 1 edition of Raw saw Chelsea Green and Piper Niven confront Katana Chance and Kaden Carter in a nightclub, and Tyler Bate had a coffee date with Pete Dunne on this past Friday SmackDown. These weren't shot like normal WWE backstage segments. They were more edited, more directed, more good? Rather than feel like wrestling segments, they felt like they were from staged reality TV shows like The Only Way is Essex, or for our American viewers, The Kardashians. And those who've been keeping a close eye on WWE over the past few years will have noticed that they felt a little bit NXT 2.0. And that's not by accident. Sean Rossap over at Fightful Select report that these sorts of skits and sketches were things that Kevin Dunn didn't previously want, and that Triple H has given former TNA producer Jeremy Borash a lot of power to put together a team to film these segments over the last couple of years. Triple H and Borash worked together closely when Trips was running NXT Creative, and the reports at the time said that he was grooming him to be his version of what Kevin Dunn was for Vince McMahon. Hilariously, SRS notes that this multi-year Borash plan was done safely under Kevin Dunn's radar, with one source noting that if Dunn had shot these, they would have likely cut away to several different things. But the internal feeling is that these more staged segments let the characters breathe. SRS adds that with no Kevin Dunn, there is a door open to feature that style of promo across all WWE shows. Triple H is reportedly very happy with how the segments came out, and Fightful reports that several people associated with helping put together the promos spoke highly of the new process and the freedom to them. But what do you think of them? I quite like them, but I think they can be quite divisive, so let me know what you make of this new design of backstage segments in the comments down below. And speaking of divisive, lastly from this past Monday's Raw, if you missed it, Jinder Mahal did, in fact, not win the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Seth Rollins beat him to retain the title in about 13 minutes. Look, I don't think anyone had any real thoughts that Jinder Mahal might beat Rollins for the title, given that we're a few months out from WrestleMania and we're already building a Rollins versus Punk program for the title, and, you know, Jinder Mahal hasn't won a match in over a year. But there was online chatter that WWE could pull the trigger on this quite silly idea. And a lot of this stemmed from AEW's Tony Khan, who had a Twitter meltdown over the idea of Mahal going for the title last week, even getting into arguments with Eric Bischoff and Jonathan Coachman. That is, grown men arguing on Twitter. And perhaps 5 years ago, or, 7 years ago, WWE might have seen this online buzz that Jinder was getting and think, let's put the title on that lad there. But this isn't Vince McMahon's WWE anymore. This is Papa H's WWE, and Papa H has a plan, and in a shock wrestling twist, he's sticking to the plan. Fightful Select are reporting that there was never consideration to have Jinder win the title. Furthermore, despite teasing the idea that he might, there wasn't any discussion about Damian Priest cashing in his Money in the Bank contract. More likely, the Priest spot was booked to build to the Drew McIntyre match for next week, and to give Indus a weapon to hit Seth with for that one great near fall. I, of course, am unsurprised about all of this. After all, I predicted this sort of meaningless mini push for Mahal would happen every few months in 2024.
Tri-monthly, 3-week push.
What? Tri-monthly?
Yeah, so every 3 months, he will get a 3-week push.
3 week is not hyphenated.
Why not?
Tri-monthly isn't a word.
Tri-monthly, 3-week push.
Luke wrote this down in the office, turned to me and said, "Are you going to be impressed with this?"
Surely he's disqualified.
All right, 3-week push.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go.
Jinder's WWE contract is actually up in 2024, which is heating up to be the big year of free agents. Pete Quinnell did a whole video over the Christmas period of the upcoming free agents, but there are some massive names on the list. On the WWE side of things, you've got Alexa Bliss, Drew McIntyre, Seth Rollins, and Becky Lynch all having their contracts expire this year. While on the AEW side of things, you've got names like Dustin Rhodes and Bryan Danielson. But one of the big names outside of North America is the current New Japan Strong Women's Champion, Julia. It's been reported for some time that Julia will likely be heading to either WWE or AEW, as her contract with Bushiroad, the company that owns Stardom, was coming to an end in March of this year. Julia successfully defended her Strong Women's Championship over the weekend against Trish Adora, a match that was originally supposed to be against Mercedes Moné, with Moné planned to win the title that was designed for her in the first place. But Dave Meltzer wrote in the Wrestling Observer newsletter that Moné and New Japan could not agree to more dates, and that plan was scrapped. Meltzer also wrote in the Wrestling Observer newsletter that Julia will spend a few months after her contract expires in March studying English before signing with WWE, which will reportedly happen later this year. So what happened to AEW's interest in her? Well, Dave Meltzer reported late last year that AEW never made a serious play to sign Julia, and she'd had no serious conversations with them. He wrote in December, "It's WWE or staying in Japan." He added yesterday on Wrestling Observer Radio, Julia never got an offer from AEW, at least a couple of weeks ago, like 2 weeks ago. For whatever reason, they didn't go after her. I don't know why. This sparked some backlash to Tony Khan and AEW online, as it feels like a missed opportunity to not try and sign one of the hottest free agents in pro wrestling, particularly when you've got fans asking for more women's wrestling on Dynamite and Collision. There's even been reports that Khan could be rebuilding his women's division for 2024, signing both Mariah May and Deonna Purrazzo recently, as many expect Mercedes Moné will sign with AEW soon. So with all that in mind, why not go for Julia? Well, according to Ibu of Wrestle Purists, the real reason AEW never made a play for Julia was they don't think she's particularly good. That's Julia, who got several near 5-star matches in 2023 and is considered to be one of the best wrestlers in Japan and the whole world right now. Yeah, just not particularly good. You do you, AEW, but hey, if you were impressed with my Jinder Mahal prediction, and you should be, we also did predictions for every WWE star's 2024 Royal Rumble in 3 words or less / fewer.